Welcome to Worry Free Wednesday, and this is Greg Surratt with you. We are in a short series that we're called that is called Call to More, and we're talking about our calling. What are we supposed to be doing? And we're looking at Ephesians chapter 4 and verses 1 through 3. Let's read verse 2 because this is our calling. Be completely humble and gentle. We talked about those two already. Then it says, be patient, bearing with one another in love. So today, we're going to talk about patience. Anybody need that? Let's be honest. If Amazon takes more than 2 days to deliver, we start thinking that civilization's about to fall apart, right? We want fast Wi-Fi, quick results, and people who think like us right now. But Paul says those two words, be patient. He said you're called to that. You're called to be patient. He's not talking about, waiting for your coffee to brew. He's talking about the kind of patience that changes how we treat people, because that's the bottom line. Even when they move slower or they think differently or they just plain frustrate us. You have any testimonies? You know anybody like that? The word Paul uses for patience literally means long-tempered. It's the opposite of short-tempered or short fuse. Patience says, I'm going to give you space to grow because God gives me space to grow. See, when we rush people, we forget that God rarely rushes us. Think about how patient he's been with you, how patient he's been with your doubts or maybe the delays that you've had or the detours that you're on. If God's not in a hurry with you, maybe you don't need to be in a hurry with everybody else. I remember as a kid, my mom was a gardener and I begged her and she let me plant a little corner of her garden. I loved these little onions. In fact, I'd grow onions, or she would grow onions, and we'd put them in a jar of water in the refrigerator, and I would snack on onions after school. Some of you may call that child abuse, but I loved it. And so I wanted to grow my own onions, and so we put little bulbs in there. And Mom did the rest of her, garden, and I watered my part, which seemed like weeks. It's probably just a few days, but it barely came up. And when they first started to come up, I would pull them out. It would ruin the whole process because I didn't have what? Patience. And I watch her garden, and one day a tiny green bud appears, and then it grows, and it turns out some things just take time to mature. And patience is trusting that's what's happening underground, and it's just as important as what's visible above it. Patience at work looks like letting someone explain before you correct. Patience at home looks like giving your spouse or the kids the benefit of the doubt. And patience online might look like closing the app before you comment. It's not passive, it's powerful. It's saying, I refuse to let frustration make me somebody that I don't want to be. And here's what's wild. Patience doesn't just calm situations, it actually guards your peace. The more patient you are, the less you get yanked around by everybody else's pace. And so this week, when everything in you wants to hurry God or rush people or fix things faster, let's do this together. Let's breathe. And remember that patience isn't a delay in progress. It's a display of maturity. Steady, stay steady, give grace, and trust that God's timing is never off, even when it feels slow to you. Have you ever been there? That's how you live worry-free, even in a world that can't stop hurrying. So let's crush Worry-Free Wednesday together. Are you in? Well, listen, if you enjoy these short, encouraging videos, why don't you like them or comment or share it with a friend, subscribe so you won't miss them. And until next time, worry less, live more. And let's not just have a good day. Let's make it a great worry-free Wednesday.